yesterday the Supreme Court effectively, today, the Supreme Court effectively put to rest the little crisis, let me describe it that way, in your party, the PDP. What is your response to this, and what does it entail for the future of the PDP?
Well, thank you very much. First of all, let me thank God Almighty that today, the 30th of April 2027, brought to the end of so-called factions of PDP by the judgment of the Supreme Court today, so that you, the media houses, will no longer say the faction of Turaki. So such faction does not exist any longer because the Apex Court has finally nailed that. The Apex Court dismissed the appeals filed by Turaki and his cohorts, one against the judgment of the Court of Appeal as it relates to His Excellency Sule Lamido's matter at the Federal High Court, which was decided by Justice Lefiu, and then went to the Court of Appeal, and the appeal was dismissed. Again, the Turaki group went on an appeal to the Supreme Court over the Austin Wachukwu and his colleagues who went to the Federal High Court before Justice Omotosho. Justice Omotosho gave judgment saying that, look, whatever the PDP tend to do was wrong because of flouting the various constitutions of the party, the Electoral Act, and all other extant laws. And the Turaki faction felt satisfied. Of course, went to the Court of Appeal, they lost, and they also went ahead to the Apex Court. Today, the Apex Court has also ruled that they were all wrong. In against that our convention, which was held in Abuja here, has been validated, and that of the Amala Convention that was held in 15th, 16th of November in Ibadan has been set aside. So what this tells us is that there's only one PDP led by Abraham. There's only one PDP, so we no longer begin to hear faction. There's no more faction in PDP. PDP has gone to stay. And I've always said it before, and that it's a matter of people understanding what they were doing. The mere fact that you are in power or you are in position does not mean that you carry out acts as if you have no law regulating. There are no rules regulating the activities of the party. There are rules which you must comply with. And I thank God Almighty that this is where we are. My brother Baran Mohammed and my friend Shea Makinde, who are here now, is holding opposition coalition meeting, which we are not part. We are the main opposition party, and I don't know where they will be heading to now. I don't know where they will be heading to. And now again, when you see that there's a judgment, I think against the ADC by Federal High Court yesterday, saying that INEC should not recognize everything. So all their hopes are dashed. So I don't know which of the parties they would not be going to.
So those who left your party for the ADC, people like Atiku and Co, would you want them to come back? Would you be calling on them to come back?
No, because they are not electoral assets. They are electoral liabilities. But we do know that there are some people who left because of the fact that they are not quite sure the way things were going. They didn't know who would be responsible for signing their forms and moving to INEC. Now they know, and now they see that going to ADC is another problem. So I think those ones are coming back. But not those who originally, from inception, had wanted to bring PDP down, who have been electoral liabilities to the party. And so we don't want to take those ones back to PDP.
Okay, so your party, like you said, is the main opposition now. If, for instance, the ADC, peradventure, approaches your party to form a broad-based opposition to the APC, would you agree to that?
We don't do opposition for opposition's sake. Our opposition is very constructive not opposition because, oh, I don't like A. Anything A says, no, even if it is real, what you have said is not true. No, we will not. We will not. And I can tell you that, even if you wanted to say it more than 20 times, we will not accept the article group to say that they want to join us and to form opposition. We don't want that kind of opposition. Opposition that is destructive. Opposition that does not mean, well, opposition is merely to call attention of the ruling party or the ruling government, certain things they are not doing. Opposition is not able to destroy the country. If it is not you, nothing will go, nothing will move forward. So we cannot work with article group under ADC, we cannot.
Okay, sir. You are a lawyer. I believe you must have gone through some of these judgments, even if not the certified true copy. What would you say would be the possible implications for the case that the ADC has filed before the court?
That's what he said. He said what? ADC?
ADC, yes.
You said ADC?
Yes, ADC.
ADC, yes.
Yes,
so
yes.
you still have another case in court.
Yeah.
I am saying, as a lawyer, looking at the judgment of the court on the PDP, and of course, there's another one of the ADC. Today we have another one that ADC should go back to the Federal High Court for continuation of.
Okay, I said what you're saying, the import of that.
Yes.
Well, my own understanding, and I'm not claiming to be an expert in that, but my own understanding, first of all, what was the appeal by the ADC to Supreme Court? And this would not let the public know all the abuses by ADC against INEC chairman has now been made known that INEC chairman was right, or the INEC commission was right, when they interpreted the status quo ante-bellum, that ADC was raising hula baloo, this is not the beginning, the court never said so. But from the Supreme Court judgment, if that ante-bellum was not affecting them, they would not have gone on appeal and raised it as a ground of appeal. In fact, ground 7 of the ground of appeal is querying on that status quo ante-bellum. And now Supreme Court today said we are vacating that ante-bellum. It means, according to ADC, it was injurious to them. What it means that what the Supreme Court said, look, yes, the Court of Appeal has said status quo ante-bellum, that yes, they have power to make preservatory order, right? And that order that Court of Appeal made was, of course, not in favor of Congo. Is that if you look at the ruling or the judgment of the Court of Appeal, it says, what are you appealing? The lower court, being the Federal High Court, has not made any order. All they have said, put them on notice, right? So my thinking that the Supreme Court may have said, look, if the Federal High Court has not made any order or not given any ruling, then what is the essence of you giving an injunction? That's my own understanding. But assuming, though not conceding, that from what I'm seeing on the scroll bar by the various television, particularly channels, that said the import of this vacation of status quo ante-bellum is that the leadership of the David Mark has been restored. I'm not a member of ADC. I'm not talking about anything. But however, assuming that is the correct position, there was a judgment of the Federal High Court yesterday that said, no, barring INEC, don't even take anything from them, this and that. So ADC is still in a big problem. Whether
if they go back to Federal High Court, that means the matter must have to continue until the final judgment of that court is given. But before that final judgment of that court comes, there's already a judgment by the same Federal High Court that has barred them from doing anything, from recognizing whatever the remark group has done. It's like what happened in PDP. There are two matters. One was by Justice Omotosho, which actions were taken by Austin and his colleagues. Now, there's another one which was filed by Alaisule Lamido, who was before Justice Lifu. Now, remember, Justice Omotosho's matter had come out before Justice Lifu. Omotosho's judgment came out first. And then when Justice Lifu's judgment came, was to give strength to the judgment of Justice Omotosho, in which case there were two judgments against Turaki group, and which they violated or disrespected and went ahead to hold the Amala Convention in Ibadan. So as it stands today, or as it stands now for me, is that ADC is neither here nor there. Whichever way you look at it, there's no way it has given them any upper hand. And that's why I've said, look, in politics, you must have to make sacrifice. It's by failing to make sacrifice, that's why so many people have this problem. If at the time in PDP, we are telling Damagu and the likes of Bala and Sheyi Makinde, there's no need for us to go ahead and do this. Let us come back, form a caretaker committee, and forge ahead. They said no. That is what had led today. That's what today is concerned, that everything they have done has been set aside. So as it is now, I don't know where they're going to head to. I'm not in ADC. You asked me a question, what's my understanding as a lawyer? And that's what I said. Not that I'm in ADC for me to, or I'm against them, no. But I don't like the party. Not that I'm against them, no. Because those in the party are those who have set Nigeria backward, who have opportunities to move this country forward. But because they failed, they cannot, stay away from power. And then you see them every day from party A to party B, from party B to party C. Don't also be surprised that they are likely to move to another party. Just don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. That's my view.
Your Excellency, sir, from the Supreme Court, there's indication that the court affirmed the suspension of the PDP secretary, and if that is correct, don't you think it's time for both parties to sit down?
No, Judge, I don't want it to go further. I will know the subject matter in the matter before the Court of Appeal. What the judge was that the Court of Appeal filed by Jibade, not even Ayahu, filed by Jibade, what the court made reference was how could you have filed this appeal when it was said that you had been suspended or expelled. But look at it this way, assuming though not conceding that Sam Ayahu Ajibade were suspended by the other group called Turaki's group, assuming. Our convention has been held, and the convention, look, all these people, assuming some of them, we have brought them back. It's the party. Assuming party suspended you, party say we have lifted the suspension. So it is neither here nor there. The same party, if they were suspended, why would the party elect them at the National Convention? Okay, let's say that they were suspended. However, for the party to have allowed them to contest in the National Convention means that the party have lifted their suspension. So there's nothing to bother yourself. Is that if you have lost a matter, you have lost a matter. Don't begin to, like somebody who has finished lunch or dinner. The person was not satisfied with all the meat, all the things were in the food. It's only the one that he uses his a toothpick to pick. Is it the one that will satisfy the person? No. So they're just trying to see what they will do. Oh, find anything to say, oh, it's not correct. Look at when they said that FCT High Court suspended, agreed with the suspension of Samayam. You and I know it was not correct. What happened? When this so-called went to set up disciplinary committee to say that these people committed social offense or the other one, Samayam went to court to say, no, stop them from sitting, right? And the court said, look, as far as you are concerned, you cannot stop them from sitting to carry out their duties as given to them by the National Executive Committee of the party. The committee was led by Chief Tommy Kimi. And Tommy Kimi recommended for their suspension. But NEC never sat to confirm or to ratify the so-called suspension. So there was nothing like that. The federal high, the FCT court cannot say, we'll stand by the suspension. Which suspension? There was no suspension. Rather, this committee was to sit. And some said, no, not allow them to sit. So I agree that the court threw away Samayam's so challenging the setup of that disciplinary committee. And the disciplinary committee came up with a report that they should be suspended or expelled. I have no problems about that. But nobody to ratify that. Assuming it was ratified. The same party has said, we have forgiven you, we have suspended, we have set aside that report. Come and contest election. And they contested election in the National Convention. And they were voted and won. So the issue of suspension no longer arises. It no longer arises. So all this, trying to pick something from here, the issue that Turaki faction have lost. In fact, why they cannot come back is an anti-party for them to go to say they're holding coalition opposition meeting. They cannot go without the party's instruction. The party led by Abdurrahman as the national chairman of the party. And that convention, nobody can set it aside again because they have tried to set it aside by saying that their own convention was right. You heard what Justice Adams would look. You decided to disobey court order. You ran to another court of order jurisdiction. Instead of you appealing against the judgment of a motorship, all you did was to do foreign shopping by going to Ibadan, to go to the state high court, the high court jurisdiction with the federal high court, to give you that Amala order that they got. And as far as I'm concerned, everything has been nullified and set aside. So the convention of PDP and the election of Abraham has come to stay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.